Welcome to Wham Bam Securitycam. Hold on tight because this episode is packed with crime, crazy moments, and some cute stuff too. Marcus sent us one of the craziest stories we've received on this channel so far. Take a look. Some guy poured gasoline all over Marcus's friend's Mazda before setting it on fire. It looks like he had some trouble getting the flames going, and he's lucky he didn't fry himself in the process. Firefighters arrived quickly and successfully extinguished the blaze before it caused any damage to the house. Later that morning, the police were able to catch the arsonist. He told them he'd mistakenly thought the car belonged to his ex-girlfriend. Thankfully, the Mazda was insured, and Marcus's friend was paid 28,000 Australian dollars, over 18,000 US dollars, to replace the car. I guess the lesson here is to make sure you know whose car you're setting on fire. Just kidding. Obviously, don't set anybody's car on fire. This video shows why it's imperative not to fall asleep at the wheel. According to our submitter, that's exactly what happened to the driver of a blue truck before they smashed into his company's work truck. First responders arrived and helped both drivers with their injuries. Thankfully, everyone is expected to make a full recovery. Unsurprisingly, our submitter said both vehicles were undrivable and his company bought a new truck. This submitter was awakened by a loud noise one night, but since he didn't hear anything else after waking up, he figured he dreamt it. The next morning, however, he discovered that the sound had been very real. His neighbor's tree had fallen on his house, ripping down his power lines on the way down before landing on his car in the driveway. Portland General Electric quickly showed up to disconnect the power before another company arrived to remove the tree. Our submitter was able to get his car out from under it, and thankfully, the car only had a few minor dents. Our submitter sent us some awesome drone footage of the wreckage. Yes, I know a drone isn't a security cam, but this was too cool to pass up. He told us his neighbor paid for all the damage, but only later when it rained did he discover that the tree had also punctured a hole in the roof. In the end, they were able to get about 2 years of firewood out of the fallen tree. Who's laughing now, tree? Here's an unnerving video of two masked strangers lurking outside of this submitter's house. When they noticed the camera, one of them broke it off the mount. Our submitter told us there was no sign they actually entered the residence and nothing was missing, so he assumes they left without causing any other damage. Still, that's creepy. A bear decided to do a little sightseeing in Amy's neighborhood. She told us she wouldn't have even known about it had she not seen some animal control vehicles around and the neighborhood's dogs going crazy. Thankfully, there were no dangerous encounters or injuries, and the bear continued on. Amy isn't sure what happened to it, but we're guessing animal control kept a close eye on it. Believe it or not, this isn't our cute cam for the week. Sandro's neighbor was working on his car in his garage across the street when it suddenly started rolling down his driveway. He ran after it in an attempt to stop it as it rolled across the street and towards Sandro's son's parked Mazda. Thankfully, he was able to stop it just in time, but not fast enough to keep it from crashing into some garbage and recycling bins. He helped pick up the trash, and Sandro shared a laugh with him about the situation. Apparently, he'd accidentally left the car in neutral. Thankfully, no damage was done. This video isn't this week's cute cam either. It's coming up, we promise, and it is adorable. Some curious and hungry Javelinas decided to investigate Greg's yard. It looks like one of them wanted to get into the garage and check out his garbage can. Greg told us he heard other reports from around the neighborhood after this of Javelina encounters with dogs that didn't end well. He said the problem is that people feed the Javelinas, so they aren't afraid to come into the neighborhoods or approach things they shouldn't. It's probably not the best idea to feed these things, but we do have to say, look how fuzzy they are in their winter coats. This submitter became a victim of porch piracy after a guy who really seemed to be trying to look the part showed up sporting long hair, a beard, and a do-rag. The amateur pirate grabbed 2 packages and walked off nonchalantly, stuffing the boxes into his bag. The company that sent the boxes has already replaced the items, but our submitter still made a report with the police and is waiting to hear back from them. David was backing out of his driveway on a windy day. Suddenly, a gust of wind pushed the gate shut at the exact moment David's taillight lined up with it and the light got blown out. After some tasteful words, David ended up gluing the light back in place until he had a chance to fix it. I'm guessing he was not a fan of what had happened. David's car can't seem to catch a break. This time, his 83-year-old mother hit it while backing out of the driveway. Afterward, she drove off, not realizing what had happened. Thankfully, the only damage done was a scratch and a small dent. Okay, here's the cute cam we promised earlier. Check out what Tyler found while reviewing the videos from his doorbell camera at around 3 a.m. He couldn't believe his eyes, and since it was so late, part of him wondered if he was dreaming. The next morning, he watched it again, and there it was. A donkey had come up to his front door for a visit. After it said hello, it turned and went back to wherever it came from. Ayrton's brother's car was parked on the street one night when another car smashed into it rather slowly. The driver didn't stick around, making this a hit and run. Since the car's license plate isn't visible in the video, nothing could be done to catch the driver, so Ayrton's brother had to go through his own insurance provider to fix the damage. Will had just gotten home from a 4-hour drive, and he told us he had to use the bathroom really bad. In his hurry, he accidentally hit his dad's parked car. The impact cracked the other car's taillight and left a sizable scuff in the bumper. He spent a day fixing the taillight and buffing out the scuff, but sources confirmed it was worth it to make it to the bathroom in time. Here's another one from Greg. One day at around 2 p.m., he heard a loud crash outside his house. When he checked his security cam footage, he discovered he'd recorded a vehicle collision. He told us there were patches of ice in the road, and he thinks that's what caused the driver to slam into a parked Honda. This video was sent in by the girlfriend of one of our Platinum Patreon supporters, Festival Nurse. See if you can find the dog hidden in this video. There he is. She told us that their dog Dobby likes to bury himself in comfy things to sleep. Maybe this should have been this week's cute cam instead of the donkey. What do you think? Are you Team Donkey or Team Dobby?
Wham! Bam, we got a Patreon man. Please support the show.